we have another story here to cover, a story that's close to Midnight's Edge's heart. It kind of feels like a capper of sorts on a long running tale that we've been.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't so much here during the making of, but still
To
proud
me,
to be
it's a
proud of.
blast from the past.
Yeah, exactly. Leslie Jones calls Jason Reitman's past Ghostbuster comments unforgivable in new memoir. So yeah, we did kind of cover this on Mead the other day, but I got to get Andre's take on this whole business. So Andre,
Yeah,
take us
of
through this real
course.
quick. And
Yeah, because the backstory here is all about the 2016 Ghostbusters. Because what that movie did was that it basically pretended like the original Ghostbusters didn't exist because it was a remake. It completely overwrote that movie's place in canon and made it so that the 1984 original Ghostbusters and its 1989 sequel, where continuity was concerned, no longer existed. It was only the 2016 movie that mattered. That was the future. Unfortunately, the 2016 movie came out and it bombed, and the cinematic universe it was supposed to spawn was instantly cancelled overnight. Fast forward a few years, and then instead we get Ghostbusters Afterlife, the true sequel that the fans always wanted, because this was, for all intents and purposes, Ghostbusters 3, continuing the original story. And this is where its director, Jason Reitman, the son of original director Ivan Reitman, said that we are doing this movie for the fans and continuing the original story, or something to that effect. This is the comment that Leslie Jones deemed to be unforgivable. Why was it unforgivable? Well, because it did to the 2016 movie what the 2016 movie did to the 1984 and 89 movies. But they didn't have Leslie Jones in them. And since this one did, it's unforgivable because erasing that was like something, and I quote, that Trump would have done. And Leslie Jones did not take kindly to that, not one bit. This was her comment at the time. Now she has written a memoir of all of the horrible stuff that she went through. And I do acknowledge that there was a lot of horrible, horrible messages sent to her.
yeah, but that's nothing compared to the fact that I had to see her fucking nude pictures, Andre.
Yeah, I was about to get to that, and then her nude pictures were also leaked. And to add insult to injury, that event was called the anti-fappening because the response to those pictures were much like what Tom describes right there. So yeah, she obviously has seen the darkest side of fandom, but still, this comment about giving fans the movie that they wanted unforgivable. I mean, does that seem a little bit excessive? What say you, Mike?
Well, God, I got so many reactions to this. It's like I don't even know where to start. The thing about this is that I love. Oh my God. This is so God, Ghostbusters is one of my favorite franchises. So I got like all kinds of emotional reactions. I'm not really thinking rationally right now, but what we all can agree on is that this chick is delusional for not understanding that it was that movie with a benign property that means so much to so many kids of that era that she has no idea what that movie did to both send us down this woke river of hell that we've been on. I mean, that movie, more in my opinion, that movie more than anything that came before it or anything since, send us down the woke river of hell. You know, we were trying to have this nice peaceful ride in entertainment. Next thing you know, we're in the roaring rapids of woke and we're going off of a woke freaking waterfall. And that's what this movie did. And she in particular, at the time and ever since then, has been one of the woke champions from hell that I've ever dealt with and seen in media. And I mean, come on, look, what Jason's trying to do is give us a legacy. Jason's trying to give us the legacy of what is beloved. I mean, I got to tell you, am I the biggest Ghostbusters fan? No. But I love these movies. They're great movies. And when I went back, Tom will tell you, it was on, I think we did a live show when I came right out of the theater and I saw Ghostbusters. Was it last year?
I think Afterlife is the one I think you liked it better than anybody else.
Well, yeah. Man, I was in the movie theater crying, and you know what we need in Hollywood is we need people to understand that intellectual properties can mean a lot of positive things to a lot of people. And when they're hijacked and used for political, woke, or virtue signaling purposes, that's evil. That's wrong. That's not right. And she needs to shut the hell up and sit down and F her. I never liked this chick. I didn't like her on Saturday Night Live. I've never liked her in anything since. I find her disgusting. I find her lame. And I just find her to be another tool of the woke propagandist in Hollywood.
Well, there was one part that Andre left out that I found that was really hilarious. And this is
can I comment on this?
Sure, please do.
So I'm going to have a very different take on this. When I saw the very first Ghostbusters 2016 trailer, and I saw that Leslie Jones was relegated to a Subway employee, yes, maybe a smart one that does contribute, I knew immediately that they had missed the zeitgeist of the original movie, that the original movie showed that geeks could be heroes. That was its revelation, that a scientist would like hot chicks and do the fake card thing to fool them. That you had Egon with big hair and everyone was heroic. Geeks were heroic, not victims.
It was the era of Revenge of the Nerds, yes.
Okay, but basically. And so if Leslie was, let's say, the McKinnon character, and quite frankly, Leslie McKinnon it's not Leslie.
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon was acting in a completely different movie in a parallel universe. I have no idea what
you and everybody else think
she was acting in it. I was completely flabbergasted. But even on the trailer side, if they had Leslie Jones as the smartest person of the group, I'd go, they get it. They get the original zeitgeist of the movie. And I'm not even talking about subverting expectations, because that's now become a terrible trite thing to say. But the fact that they trod down, they of all people, the fact that it was just about women was their only trick card, that was their mistake. They thought that's all they needed, and they were wrong. So like I said, I think Leslie's anger is misplaced. She should be yelling at the producers of her own bloody movie, not right.
You're saying she should be angry at Amy Pascal and
correct
at Paul Feig.
Correct.
Yep.
That's who she should be angry at.
Because I agree, because you're right. I mean,
100%.
Honestly, she was one of the best parts of the movie.
She was.
I brought that up too when we talked about this, and that was what most critics said. In fact, I said those exact things you just kind of said, Paul, the other night. I said, or last night I think it was. So she's the only one who knew what movie they were in. Right? Yes. Nobody else making this movie knew what they were doing. She is the only one who had it. You could argue Kate McKinnon had an idea of what she was doing, and I could see where she was going with it.
She turned it into a sketch.
But yeah, unfortunately, neither one of those two were in the same movie. You had the same problem with Chris Hemsworth's bits, and you had Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy basically battling it out, both trying to be Bill Murray.
Yeah,
McCarthy, and that's the problem you have.
McCarthy, I actually didn't mind, and Wiig, that was a terrible story. She didn't write that; it's not her fault.
Well, Kristen Wiig on that point, and that's where another part where Leslie was bitching, and that's what I was going to get to next, was she was griping that she didn't make as much as Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig's a bigger star. Anyway,
exactly. That's the.
So if this movie had any chance, they would have needed to add more than just being a distaff version of the movie to make it subversive. They didn't.
All right, so you know what? Maybe I should amend what I'm saying, because I'm realizing I might be part of the problem of what's pissed her off, because guys like me are zero in and target on actresses like her, and maybe my anger is misplaced, and maybe I should also, just like she is, I should really be pissed at the producers and writers of that movie.
So. Yep.
I agree with you, Mike.
You guys, I think, and then I have to say, why is she doing that? You know what? What's got her is that she has been the target of people like me, And maybe I'm listening to you guys and I got to revisit it. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe my feelings are misplaced and I should be blaming the director and the producer and the writers for giving us
that may be, Mike, but there's a few different things. First of all, in my memory, I don't think any of us ever really necessarily attacked any of the actors.
No, we never did.
Yeah, as far as our part, like Andre and I can flat out say that
the ones we attacked were Amy Pascal for agreeing this and for taking it away from Ivan Reitman.
Yep.
And Paul Feig for making it so absolutely hateful and misandric as humanly possible because he hates men.
Yeah, and the only two actors I attacked was Wig and McKinnon, ironically.
Well, and before you even go giving Leslie a pass here, Mike, she was the one who decided to engage. That is also part of the story. Never forget that. If she had just not engaged with anybody, then she probably wouldn't have gotten as much hate as she got.
Well, and that's where my feelings about her originated from.
But she's just an actor.
She, you know what?
But she went on a Twitter fucking rant. She went after a bunch of people. She shut down her Twitter for 24 hours, and yeah.
She needs to find a publicist that needs to tell her to shut the hell up like the rest of these woke ass actors.
She needs to, and that she's never going to attack Pascal and Feig. Yet, like I said, and you've said, that's actually who she should have attacked. But there's no way she would.
Yeah. And we
she doesn't have the power or clout in Hollywood to get away with that. That's the reason.
Yeah, that would be even worse. Yes.
And we've discussed that her career was not hurt any more than anybody else's who was involved. In fact, we compared all the girls' careers since then. And actually, she's pretty much on par with everybody else. She's gotten just as many opportunities and working gigs as everybody else. But I think her bigger problem was, and she even says this in they quote this or whatever from the book, where she was talking about, she thought that she and everybody else around her were giving her the idea that this was going to be the movie that was going to launch her into the next level. Right.
Yes.
And as Script pointed out, she's already been at this now for like 20 plus years almost.
Yeah. She was, I think, 49 when she did Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So
she's been already, and she'd been a stand-up for, I think, 20 odd years prior to that. And I think memory serves is that she was hired on SNL because somebody made an outrage that they didn't have enough black cast members at the time.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They didn't.
I mean, they didn't, yeah. But
now they have too many non-binary.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it's not. I mean, the way that Lorne Michaels picked cast members, at least when he came back, is he didn't care about their physical appearance. He's like, you have to do 3 characters in 2 minutes and prove that you can write a sketch. That was it. And if you couldn't do that to the way he liked, you did not get in. And that was the only metric that he used to measure. And then that changed. And when that changed, SNL got exponentially worse.
Well, and you can't always say that. I mean, Michael's had a great taste as far as that goes, but there's a lot of great people that he let slip through his fingers too. Don't get me wrong. And so my point is he may not be the end all be all as far as the arbiter of who's the best comedians around. Because at the same time, SNL has had a lot more down years than they've had up years. We cannot forget that at this point.
Leslie was not the worst cast.
No, and she's not the worst, and she's not the worst in the movie. In fact, like I said earlier, I gave her credit yesterday and plenty of times before where she's got some of the funnier bits of the movie. And you're right, Paul, what people were calling things out on at first, she even sounds like she's upset that people had her back. Because she's like, well, I don't even know why people were upset about my character. It's like, no, because they gave you a fucking shit role.
And it's so weird that I was upset hearing her do her black jiving talk. I went, wow. They just don't get it. They don't understand the original movie. James Caan played against type in the horror movie, where he was a writer and had his knee broken.
Misery.
Misery. What made Misery great was James Caan in every other film was this tightly wound, intense person, and Reiner strapped him down, and that's why his performance was so good.
Because I never thought of it that way, but that's a good point.
Because he was absolutely the wrong person for the role, but he was the right person for the role. And so I always think of actors, people surprise you. Like in RoboCop, they got the nicest guy in the world to be the evil corporate
Kurtwood Smith, yeah.
No. They got the old man.
You mean the old man? The old man, yeah.
And then also another nice guy, Ronnie Cox, was also
Ronnie
that's
Cox
what I meant.
is also playing against.
And Ronnie Cox is quoted as saying he was so happy to be this mean son of a bitch.
Yep. No, he's 100% right. I remember that.
So the thing is, there are people out there, leaders that understand how to cast things. This was terribly cast. Anyway, I'm repeating myself. I'm sorry.
No, but you're 100% right, and that's at the end of the day. The problem is she should have just kept her mouth shut, moved on to the next job,
and that's true too.
And because Paul Feig and Amy Pascal are the ones to blame, as Andre said, and I dug through some of the emails with Andre for other reasons and stuff over the years. Like I said, I can't take any credit for the initial reporting that he and Kevin and those guys did, but like you look at some of these emails and it became very apparent from the start where things went wrong. And that was when Amy Pascal decided that they're not going to do a Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah, that was the whole problem right there.
And you read the email and you're like reading it and you're going, Paul Feig has this great idea. Of course he wants to do it with all women because that's his shtick, And also he wants this idea of where the Ghostbusters aren't just tied to Earth. There's ghosts in other planets and all this other stuff. So we got alien ghosts and all this other stuff. And I'm like reading it and I'm going, this motherfucker don't want to make a Ghostbuster movie. He wants to make a Men in Black movie. Why didn't they just hire him to make Women in Black?
Uh-huh.
I'm serious. Like, because at least then you can play with the name. And it would... Well, Paul Feig actually had a shtick that worked. You don't necessarily remake something. You take something that's normally a male-driven property, whether it's like the bachelor party thing with, bridesmaids, whether it's, Lethal Weapon types movie with Heat, whether it's Bond types movie with Spy. He should have done a movie like this instead of making Ghostbusters. But no. They should have, but no, that's what they all wanted to do. They wanted to do because Ghostbusters was the thing, right? Ghostbusters,
what I agree with you. I think if they did a sideways ghost movie, then because then they could even have made fun of that movie Ghost.
Yes, they could have had all kinds of fun.
They could have had all
Witch.
Yep,
they could have called it Ghost Smashers.
Exactly. All you had to do was have it start out. You've got these couple of girls. They're doing like one of those, those ghost haunting shows where you have these people stay overnight and these ghosts.
Nice.
And they're all full of shit. They're all full of shit. And then it just so happens that they finally stay in a house that's actually fucking haunted. And they're like, oh shit, just like the original Ghostbusters. We get the concept. It's like Ghostbusters. But like you just said, we have tons of other stuff they can make fun of. You can throw in some Exorcist, some some Blair Witch, some all this stuff. And Amityville, whatever you want, tossed in there.
Absolutely. That's a brilliant idea. That is what they should have done.
Glory Hole Buster.
Oh,
wrong movie.
No.
Not that all girl Ghostbusters. A different one.
Yeah, that's a porn parody right there. But
bonus Hole Buster.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's the sequel.
Scripts. Any thoughts on this before we move on?
I thought more dirty jokes, if you want.
Well, all I will have to say is that Leslie Jones is more than welcome to share her experiences on this in her memoir. It's not going to benefit her in the social sphere of things, the way that she's perceived that experience, and also the fact that she's trying to, or at least she's making implications that Jason Reitman and for lack of a better term, her father as well, because he was still alive at the time they made Ghostbusters Afterlife, did her wrong. For some reason is preposterous, and it's probably going to further make people understand that whoever reads this, like, I can understand why nobody heard about you in the entertainment industry until you were in your 40s, because if this is the attitude you've had up at this point, people just didn't really want to work with you.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I think I figured out her career. You know how you fix it? Instead of remaking Ghostbusters, they should have remade Porky's and had her play Miss Ballbuster or whatever, the one chick. The gym teacher,
starring Lizzo.
Well, there's many roles she can play because she's actually really, really good. Like some of her skits on SNL is great. She's the best part in it. She was the best part of this movie.
Her Weekend Update.
So she just needs the right role. And here, unfortunately, she was the best part of an otherwise horrible movie that never should have been made. As Ash Bondray points out for $1.99, Ghostbusters 2016 should have been a continuation, not a reboot. Indeed, that was the whole problem right there.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 AM Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe and join us.